more annoying than preseason? Just I don't even know the word. But what is more annoying than this whole darts only thing that we're seeing all over the internet? Colorado faking videos to make it look like Shedeur Sanders can throw a touchdown pass. We saw him throw touchdown passes last year. You don't have to edit videos. Darts only. Please, God, LSU, don't do this darts only thing. Please, dear God. Even though at practice today, Garrett Nussmeier did throw an outright dart to Kyron Lacy, we will talk about practice, day 6 of camp. Tomorrow we all get a rest day. Friday, the media is not allowed at practice. Then Saturday, I would assume that we will get a borderline bigger team drill, scrimmage, whatever you want to call it, on how these things look and how the team is starting to look in more in just camp in general. But we'll talk about today. I thought pretty much the same as I thought yesterday to some extent, in the sense of that the defense had moments. You know, I see a lot of people, because we posted video today from practice on Twitter. If you're not following us on Twitter, you need to. Ashton Stamps and Kyron Lacy had a play together that was a fade route along the sideline that Kyron Lacy, the senior, the fifth-year senior, who has more experience than Ashton Stamps, came down with a really good catch. Doesn't stop the fact, though, that Ashton Stamps made a really good play, just Kyron Lacy made a better one. And that's how you should read it. We'll talk about all of that here tonight as well. We met with Joe Sloan today. He gave you a better idea of who he is as a play caller, in my opinion, today, more than he's given you in the 3 years now that he's been here, or just his philosophy, his scheme, what he wants to do. He talked about Caleb Jackson. He talked about this offensive line. He talked about Garrett Nussmeier. And when asked about the receivers, he chuckled and said, yeah, they're really good. Being sarcastic, meaning that he thinks that they are very good. So we'll talk about what Joe Sloan had to say tonight or today as well. We'll go around your SEC. So C.J. Baxter, we talked about this last night. The Texas running back did technically tear his ACL. I know we were speculating last night. How does that look for Texas? And I am going to go off on Arkansas fans. They've done enough. You know, if you haven't been on Twitter, there's this video about quarterbacks throwing a pass and then it being edited, the video being edited to make it look like it's a touchdown, that a receiver catches a touchdown. Everybody from every school is doing it right now. And then you have Arkansas that's out there. Arkansas, who went 4-8. Arkansas that is out there making these darts only things. Darts only. That are all fake. Arkansas, y'all don't have no room to talk. Even though you got Bobby Petrino back, you might want to calm your ass down. All right. Oh, and by the way, at the end, like we do every night, during these practice reports, we'll get to your thoughts, questions, concerns at the end. Jared Addison with a $499 super sticker. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. We greatly appreciate the super chat, super sticker. Chase Abear with a $9.99 super chat says, Blake, I'm getting pretty damn excited watching the defense do some things. If this team gets more balanced, we are going places. I feel it in my plums, brother. Well, first off, pause. I feel it in my plums. That's funny, though. Shit's funny. I think that they are being more balanced. In the one-on-one individual drills, look, offense got on them. In 7-on-7 today, not so much. Defense stood up in 7-on-7, and then we were not allowed to stay in the last team period. Defensive line and pass rush. All right. I see you working. Guys, the D-line in the interior of the pass rush today, or interior, but the pass rush today in general was much better than it had been. The first 3 days, this D-line got stonewalled. Today, they were like, shit, man, we're not taking this shit no more. How's the offensive line in that interior going to respond? Now, Miles Frazier has had really, really good days. Actually, he's had a great day every day until today. Maybe that's a little bit of fatigue. I don't know. But Miles Frazier, even letting some guys get past him. Will Campbell has still yet to allow a sack. I think that might be the least surprising news to everybody in here. So, yeah. John Sibley Butler says he's in the 985. Good to have you in here, my man. Frank Town is in the building. Michael Moore says Spring Hill, Louisiana, the 318. 3-1 great. David Woodard is here. Linda is here. Tyler Townsend is here. Where's everybody watching from tonight? Yeah, man, I tell y'all this every time. And by the way, last night's audio podcast, almost a record. Yeah. How about that stuff? Of listens, the 318, 3-1 great, standing out. If you show us love, baby, we're going to show you love right back. That's how this works. That's how it works. Jared Addison says, I wouldn't mind Jackson back from Arkansas. Yeah, I would not either. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for sure. For sure. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but somebody's blowing something, pause, right outside our window. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Can you hear that blower? Harry, 72 Wilson with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Harry. He says, how would you compare this year versus last year on the defensive side? Competition-wise? Oh, night and day different. Night and day. Competition-wise, night and day different. I mean, look now. In the last 18, I said this last night, it bears repeating because I think this comment from me went unnoticed. Yesterday's practice and parts of today's practice, Harold Perkins had a day. Harold Perkins had a day, brother. Yes, sir. In the inside. Yes, sir. Got new shoes on my ride. Yes, sir. Rolling down 95. Yes, sir. You can see in my eye. Yes, sir. Looking for a cutie pie. That's probably what Blake Baker was singing on his way home after Harold Perkins had the day that he had. I said this last night. It bears repeating. I think that the defense yesterday and today were some of the better performances that I've seen them have in the last 18 months. I don't think it's remotely close. Spring in 2023, I thought was bad. Fall camp in 2023 was horrendous. The entire season until now. About 18 months, man. About 18 months. You know, in spring, I remember everybody screaming, well, Denver Harris is going to save us. Yeah, uh-huh. You were warned. You were warned. I will remind you. On this show, you were warned about that. So, look, night and day different, Harry. Night and day different. I don't think it's in the same stratosphere, if I'm being honest. Lamar said, yes, sir. Uh-huh. The real gangster. The real pimps. The real pimps. The real pimps know that song. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The real players. The dudes that are the players. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about, player. D-Pain with some crying face emojis. New shoes on my ride. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, man. Blake Baker probably driving in that blacked out Lincoln Navigator. Uh-huh. After Park had a day. We'll talk about him as well. Good to see Park. Good to see Park having a day. Good to see Park having a day. So we'll get to all of it here. All right. No time to waste. Let me get this out of the way first because I know what practice reports do on this show. Gonna go on a little bit of a rant very quickly. This darts only thing that's hitting Twitter from these social media accounts from all these different schools. Please stop. Please stop. It's too. What are you doing? Like Colorado out there editing video to make it look like Shedeur Sanders threw a touchdown pass. We've seen him throw touchdown passes. Why do you have to edit the video? Why do you have to edit the video? Why do you have to edit the video when they have actually a clean pocket? Like I don't get any of that. Why would you do that? That's not the most egregious thing because you expect things on social media from Colorado. Why is Arkansas getting into this mix? Why is the University of Arkansas trying to clown on somebody who went 4-8 last year about offense? Because they were the first ones that I saw that mocked Colorado in all of this. Why? Why? Come on, man. Come on. Joseph Alston, he knows. Real ones know about Pretty Ricky. Pause because of the name. But yes, players know about Pretty Ricky. Yes, sir. As soon as this show is over, maybe even during the commercial break here that we're about to go on, I'm going to be playing that song while the commercial's running. I don't even know Pretty Ricky. I'm just saying. The real players know. All right. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share if you're on Facebook. Like, share, notification bell, all that good stuff. Same on YouTube. Wherever you listen to the podcast, I got to stop a quick moment. You people in the 318-31 Great, your audio podcast, you guys listen to them. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. As I would be quoting Pretty Ricky. I appreciate all that y'all do for us, especially on the audio podcast side. Don't forget to go over to Apple. I'm telling you, sometimes I'll just throw tidbits off in there, and it's not a live show. What did I see? What did I leave out? Maybe we'll start doing some more of that. You need to go over to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating if you do. So please, I really much appreciate it. We're back next. We got lots to get to. Practice report day 6. We talk about it. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. I did go listen to Pretty Ricky during the break here. Glorious. Your body, my body's turning up. I'm telling you, man. I might start on kid 3. All right, let's get rolling. You're not here to me talking about that. Let me get to this for 1 second, and then we'll get to the practice report. Justin says, Blake, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about the DB room? Probably a 6. 5.7. 6. Got to take next steps. I agree with we talked about this last night. I agree with BK's take in reference to the consistency. You've made some plays. Now let's go put some periods together. They actually did that today, and which we'll talk about that right now. So out at LSU practice, day 6. It was a hot one, you got to admit. But look, I think that there has been a theme to some extent when you talk about LSU at the I say middle part of this week. In the very beginning, we had a defensive line that was getting stalemated by this O-line. They weren't getting anything going, couldn't get a pass rush, couldn't get things going in the running game. DBs were not looking fantastic, even though Ashton Stamps and Jordan Allen both had a couple of interceptions. Outside of those moments, things were not looking good. And then yesterday and today, when the full pads came on, I thought some things started looking and getting better. Now, what you will say is, Blake, well, what about all the videos you shot in one-on-ones and the ones that we posted on Twitter? Ashton Stamps today would pretty much, to some extent, at the end of one-on-ones, kind of set the tone for, I felt like, how the day would start. Fade route along the sidelines, man-to-man, bump and run coverage, and Ashton Stamps goes up and gets his head turned, gets his hands up, is going to try to bat the ball away. Perfect technique, perfect coverage. The problem is that the fifth-year senior in Kyron Lacey gets in his inside shoulder, high points the football. He has better technique than Ashton Stamps and comes down with the football. If you saw our video, you could hear me actually saying in the video of that play today, you hear me saying, yes, sir, Ashton Stamps. And then Kyron just makes us a better play. Nevertheless, I thought he was coming down with a PBU. But today started off like this. It was also Ashton Stamps and Kyron Lacey that would start the day off. Lacey runs a hitch route, pass break up by Ashton Stamps. Aaron Anderson. Man, Aaron Anderson, that's another one on Aaron Anderson, who is continuously making some plays here. Aaron Anderson, 10-yard in route on Major Burns. Nuss overthrows Parker on the sideline, overthrown out of bounds. C.J. Daniels, drag route across the middle. Jordan Allen in coverage, touchdown. That would have been a touchdown. Hilton, slant 11 on Sage Ryan. That was the first team period that we saw. So, look, you have Nuss overthrowing a pass. I thought was just kind of trying to get ramped up, trying to get moving. Yeah, it's an early start of day 6. You hadn't really had a break here. All right, whatever. Reminder now that midway through the day, there's going to be something that I tell you that happened that I think that Joe Sloan is gearing his quarterback up to be ready to go. We'll get to that in just a minute. First mistake by Nuss. But Lacey hitch route, Ashton Stamps in the pass breakup. Guys, you just didn't get to see, unfortunately, the first play in team one-on-one drills is Ashton Stamps batting the ball down on a hitch route by Kyron Lacey, because it was also perfect technique. It was also beautiful. And Ashton Stamps got one on him, and then Kyron Lacey got the next one. If we're being honest, that's exactly how you want it to go. Now, you don't want to give up the long one. You'd probably rather give up the hitch because that's not going for 7. I get that. But if your number one wide receiver is what LSU has listed Kyron Lacey as at this current moment, if Ashton Stamps is your number one DB, when they're going up against one another, I want to see you both win a rep. And you got that. I don't think that Ashton Stamps in the fade route coverage that we'll talk about here in just a moment that went viral, I don't think that Ashton Stamps I don't think that he had bad technique. I don't think he was in a bad spot. Just that your senior made a better play. Here's where things started getting interesting. The second team comes out there, and Spears, meaning Deshawn Spears, with a breakup on green. Yes, the ball was late to him. Aaron Anderson with a 10-yard in route on Major Burns. Parker is overthrown again by Ricky Collins. I will say this, man. Kyle Parker has not been getting a lot of talk on shows because the times that he has on a fade route that he beat, I think, J.K. Johnson on yesterday, he drops it, would have been a touchdown. That is on 7-on-7, not in individual drills. Would have been a tutty from Ricky Collins. And today he gets two balls that are overthrown to him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, you know what? I don't really care that pass isn't to him. He won both reps. And he's won multiple reps this camp. The ball's just not getting to him where we're able to see him make plays in crucial practice spots. It's not missed upon me that Kyle Parker's getting wide ass open. I've seen more Kyle Parker misses, whether him dropping it or overthrows, or one today in 7-on-7 hit at his feet, and then one was along the sideline. He had to try to make a ridiculous catch on a throw by Nussmeier. I don't know. Like, just being honest here, I don't know what would we be saying about Kyle Parker if those catches are completed and he's making plays. We'd probably be saying, hey, man, Kyle Parker, I mean, you know, Xavier's, I mean, what do you do with Kyle Parker? Because he's making plays all over the place, but overthrown twice. Michael Turner from Jesuit, the guy that the young man, the 3-star from Jesuit, from John Curtis, excuse me. The young man, the 3-star, who a lot of people have made a lot about when it comes to his weight, made some plays today in coverage. Michael Turner is probably your fastest defensive player, and it's probably not remotely close out on the boundary. Him and Jelani Watkins went stride for stride today, and I will admit, Michael Turner had some of the smoothest coverage stuff that we have seen probably in the last couple of days. He's just going up against freshmen and second and third team guys, so it's kind of like hit or miss on what actually is happening because balls get overthrown, balls get underthrown, whatever. I'm keeping my eyes on Michael Turner because he's made some plays. The first team gets back in there, and it was the first play that they run is the Lacey fade that we talked about, the one that I know that a lot of you have seen on social media already. The Lacey fade route, Moss's stamps, I guess you would call it, to put it in text, but you've probably seen it. That's how they started off. We've already talked about that. Corner route by Mason Taylor. I wrote the wrong name down. It was not Jordan Gilbert. It was, if you're on the forum, you've read all this. It was on Joel Rogers, who got a couple of little first-team reps here today. Joel Rogers on Mason Taylor. Mason runs a corner route. Another spectacular catch by Mason Taylor along the sidelines. When Mason Taylor goes to the corner route, catches it, like has to tiptoe in and try to keep both feet in bounds as he's falling down, you had a sprinting Joe Sloan complimenting Mason Taylor more than anything. More than anything. You know, it was interesting. We have not really talked about Mason Taylor to a great extent. But when BK makes statements, it's because he's seen or hearing or, you know, seeing and hearing things about a player. There's a reason Mason Taylor was with him in SEC Media Days. There's a reason. Mason Taylor's made some spectacular catches and some spectacular plays. Remember Mason Taylor when we go to 7-on-7 in just a moment. Because they ran a third down period today, and that was Nuss's favorite target. Not even remotely close on who he wants to go to on third down. It's Kyron Lacey and it's Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor got the action today besides Kyron Lacey, however, on these critical third down situations. After the corner route from Mason Taylor, Deshawn Spears started making his presence being well known. Now, some of the plays, maybe some late throws by the quarterback, maybe the plays aren't made, but it's in tight coverage on two tight ends, a safety on a tight end, which is who he will be covering a lot here if he is going to be a premier safety. If he's on man-on-man coverage, guys, he was in 3 coverages today. The ball was not completed in any of them. So Deshawn Spears, a.k.a. Deshawn McBride, had a really big day, in my opinion. Really happy for that young man. After Spears breaks up the pass, you would have a couple of more overthrows that I didn't write down by Colin Hurley and by Ricky Collins. Because I was like, look, man, let's get some of the highlights in some of these last individual periods. I did not write those down. But after Deshawn Spears started to get those pass breakups or force those incompletions, C.J. Daniels ran a fade route along the sidelines, and Zy Alexander broke it up. Yeah, that Zy Alexander in man-to-man coverage, bump and run on the outside, gets his head turned, bats the ball down, incomplete. At this exact moment, Joe Sloan loses his outright mind on his quarterback room. I'm talking about loses his shit on the quarterback room. Remember I said that because he was on Nussmeier's ass all day. And I think it wound up benefiting us and putting pressure on him to start converting on their later period in 7-on-7 on third down. The last one was Spears, a pass breakup on Pimpton. So the opening team period here, man, I thought was really good. Very competitive, highly competitive by both sides. It's another day that you saw the defense against what we think to be really good wide receivers have a better day than they've been having. And that is the theme that continues to go on here. Can they continue to be better? And if they do continue to be better, then what do you look like defensively? Thought linebackers took a step forward today too. We'll get to them next. So that is the individual DBs versus, or the team period versus the wide receivers, quarterbacks versus the DBs and safety, or corners and safeties. That's how that period ended. While that was going on, running backs and linebackers were on the other field. And it was interesting. They weren't going full speed, really. They were trying to get some 50, 60% reps in on linebackers blitzing, Blake Baker coaching, and the person that stayed in the pass pro unit as a running back. So what they were doing is a running back on a blitz obviously has to pick up a linebacker. They're working on scenarios with Caleb Jackson picking up pass pro. That was the Frank Wilson goal of the day. Him and Caden Durham. I think I saw Josh Williams maybe once, John Emery in there a couple times, helping in and teaching and learning on pass pro. Frank Wilson was walking around with Caleb Jackson during pass pro so that he can be ready for when his number's called, if he needs to pick up a blitz in a critical situation, that he can. Let's get the technique down. We know that you can run it in between the tackles. It's not missed upon me some of the creative things that Harold Perkins was doing today when he was going in pass pro. Hit the outside shoulder of Caleb Jackson, does a little dip, that little dip under that he likes to do. Perk gets beat, but then spins back into the quarterback. So I got beat, need to spin back into the quarterback and won. Is Perk got some more moves here that we're not seeing because we're not having the opportunities to see him in situations that may present him in a game when it comes to rushing the passer. So I thought that was very interesting as well. We ended up we did not stay out there long today, but we ended this entire period with special teams. In this entire team period, you had special teams that were out there. Guess who the gunner was today? At least what they're putting as the gunner. Harold Perkins was the gunner today. At least that's what they lined him up as. I don't know if that's what they run out there with, but Harold Perkins was the gunner today on special teams on punt. I don't know why they keep running Peyton Todd out there as your starting punter. I really don't. Maybe trying to get him the first looks. I don't know. But Blake Oschendorf, man, I'm going to continue to talk about him when he's doing some of these things in practice. Had a 55-yard punt that got down at the 4. Then another 50-yard punt that had about a 5.5-second hang time. And then, it stayed around 45 to 47 after that. The kid can really boot it. The kid can really, really, really boot it. When you have somebody that can flip the field for you, man, is that a weapon. Let's see who wins it. I know Peyton Todd's giving it everything he's got. I just don't know if he's going to win that game. So that was the first team period. My thoughts are that, look, kind of some of the same things that we've been talking about. I think more than what we saw in the individual one-on-one team unit with the wide receivers and DBs, I think the running back thing was the biggest deal in trying to get Caleb Jackson up to speed in pass pro because of the fact of what Joe Sloan said about him today when asked in the press conference. Hey, man, the kid's a truck. He's a bull. He's going to run you over. He can run past you. Here's what he's got to work on. He's got to work on pass pro. Joe Sloan did not mince words on that. They were working on that today. So good to see. Very, very, very good to see. So punting, man, doing some good things. They would go into individual drills for probably 2/3 of the practice after that. Hold on one second. I made a very, very rookie error, and my notes are on a laptop here, and my laptop is about to die. I actually typed my notes, and I got to have my notes if we're going to do the show, and I forgot to plug my computer in. They were in a lot of individual drills today, one of them being a tackling drill led by Blake Baker. They brought some fun into practice. They were letting some offensive linemen run with the football, and they were learning how to, work together, getting to a ball carrier and making tackles. Fun period. But they were working on tackling with Baker over and over and over and over and over again today. Look, man, I do think that there's a lot of form that goes into tackling. I also think that there's a lot of want to. When you go and try to tackle somebody, it does not feel good. And we miss on the fundamental things. And you were not a good tackling team last year. You can only be taught so much on how to tackle before you start making it a want to, right? Blake Baker, Matt House, Jamar Kane, whoever you want to talk about, teaching you tackling, doesn't matter. You got to have a want to and a drive to want to go bring a ball carrier down. Technique is a big deal. I'm not saying that it's not. But sometimes you just got to be nasty and the want to be great. The want to be great is a lot that wanting to win, being competitive is a lot what it is to tackle. They worked on it all the live long day today. Multiple times. They worked on it in special teams drills. They worked on it with Blake Baker. And I will admit, BK was in the center of these tackling drills, right? All over their ass. All over their ass. About form, technique, I have not seen BK in that light before. I have not. You know, he has let his coaches coach, but I think that he understands and saw last year, like, hey, man, we got to get better at these fundamental things. We have a younger team, but a talented team. And if they can do these things, I think we can be okay. That's how the day was. Now they have off tomorrow. Maybe they were, you know, I know tackling's not an easy drill, but not going one-on-ones the entire time, not doing what they've done the first couple of days, kind of ramping some things down for the week before you get it started back up. Maybe that's what they were doing, but it wasn't missed upon me that they had a really fun team period or individual period, and they spent on tackling for probably 30 minutes. Probably 30 minutes. And in a practice where it's like an hour and a half, that's a lot. And it's needed. It's very much needed. After the individual drills, we would go to 7-on-7. All of that being third down. The third down 7-on-7 period was a period that I thought had been the most competitive for both sides. Mainly due to the fact that Nuss had to make right decisions. They put him in high-pressure situations. And before he got to that, they were in an individual drill, the quarterbacks. And right before they went into 7-on-7, Joe Sloan didn't bench Nussmeier, but he made him get out of the drill because he was being lazy and not getting his footwork in the proper place, and that he was being lackadaisical. Joe Sloan was all over Garrett Nussmeier all the live long day. All the live long day. Screaming at him. Don't have lazy feet. Get out of my drill. Get out of my drill. Swan, Collins, let's go. So I wanted to say that to say, like, look, man, they are putting a lot of pressure on him to get him ready to start the season. You're going to have to. If you wanted to succeed, you're going to have to. So I think that I'm not saying that Garrett Nussmeier was flustered. He clearly wasn't. But I wanted to set the tone for you on how things were going into the 7-on-7 period as we tell you what happened. Taylor goes for 6. Perk gets a hand in a little middle hitch route or just a little middle end route. Perk gets a hand on it. Ball bounces up in the air. Taylor comes down with the catch. And it was 3rd and 5. So they get the first down. But it doesn't miss on me that Perkins was there. The very next play, an out route by Mason Taylor, is broken up by Harold Perkins. The very next play after that, they run the same goddamn play, and Taylor catches an out route for 7. Perkins was there on the tackle on 3rd and 7. So right at the marker sticks. So the first 3 plays of team period on 3rd down, what do we have? We have your quarterback going to his reliable tight end. We have a guy that we want to see more of in coverage and more of in the inside at linebacker. What has he looked like? And we want to see how he's progressing. Well, I just read off to you a bang-bang coverage for 6, a pass breakup. Taylor catches a contested pass from Harold Perkins. That is literally about as good as you can get it. Harold Perkins with a big day, not only as a gunner on special teams. About this gunner thing, I really wonder if they're really going to leave him out there. There's parts of me that's like, there's no way. There's no way. Maybe they do. I don't know. A linebacker as a gunner. Maybe they do. They lined his ass up out there today. So let's see what they do. I'm not saying that he's going to be the gunner because we might not ever talk about it. He was out there today, and then in 7-on-7 had 3 really good plays. Lacey on an out route contested by Ashton Stamps. Aaron Anderson in route corner route, gets dropped, and a pass breakup by Stamps on Kyron Lacey. So the third down 7-on-7 unit was completely won by the first team defense when it came to third down. I do think that Nuss tried to force some things, and it did not benefit him. But you have literally 4 of the 7 passes that we were able to see, 5 of the 7 passes by Nussmeier that we were able to see, highly contested in 7-on-7 on third down. Let me stop right here, because I have been very critical of LSU the last 2 years on third down. We will talk about this all season long. Believe you me, you and I are going to be talking about what LSU defensively does on third down. It's the money down. Guys, you have been outright booty cheeks on third down. Trash water. You have to be more competitive on third down. Defense stood up in 7-on-7, in my humble opinion, from what we were able to see. That is chronologically in order what I was able to see. So, I don't know what to make of it other than they have had moments, man. They have had moments. I'm still vastly worried about the interior of the defensive line when it comes to getting after the quarterback and rushing or rush defense. I don't know how we're going to be there, man. I really don't. I really don't. Even though today in pass pro, 1v1s in pass pro, O-line versus D-line, Sean Washington beats Miles Frazier 3 straight times. That was something of notice. But then they get in the running game, man, and they do individual run game drills, and they're losing. It's the wildest back-assward shit I've ever seen. You had a good day, man. You've had a couple of good days here. A couple of good days. Some added notes in here too. I want to add before we start getting the thoughts, questions, concerns. And Joe Sloan, it's not missed upon me that it has been pretty evident that Tyree Adams has become your swing tackle. God forbid if something happened to one of your guards, I do think that Emory Jones would kick in and Tyree Adams is coming in. That kid's had a camp, man. That kid has had a camp on him, buddy. He is a massive human being. The kid's light on his feet. If Tyree Adams continues to put these kinds of plays together, or days together, these practices together, I don't know, man. But there is iron sharpening iron. When he's going up against Gabe Relaford, Deshaun Womack, and others, Tyree Adams has not looked bad at all. Kid can play. Kid can really play. We'll see, man. Second team, Ricky Collins has a pass over the middle to Kyle Parker. The pass was high. This is what I was talking about Kyle Parker earlier. The pass was high by Ricky Collins. It gets tipped up in the air. J.K. Johnson with a pick 6. And then C.J. Daniels to end out what we could see. In 7-on-7, he has a 12-yard out route end of period. So, all in all, I thought a very balanced day. Now the team gets a rest tomorrow. They recoup. They go back there on Friday. Media is not allowed on Friday, but will be back out there on Saturday. Can the defense continue to creep up in what they've done? That will be the ultimate question. Can they creep up? Can they do some better things? I don't know. But they've had some decent days the last 2 days, which I'm very good of, or really glad of. Still worried about your interior defensive line. Still worried about your corners at times. But all in all, man, all in all, you have not been bad. You've been okay. I don't know how it translates. I'm excited to be out there Saturday. I would assume they're going to go to some kind of type of scrimmage or massive team period on Saturday. And they're going to be going to the ground. They went to the ground some today, meaning tackling. But I do believe on Saturday you are going to get your biggest takeaways of this camp. I really believe that. And you're going to be able to start to determine what this team really looks like when they line them up and say, hey, this is live action. Here we go. Like, hey, this is for real. We ain't going to be out here coaching you. We're going one-on-ones. Let's go. What would it look like in a game? And I think Saturday being that is either going to, we're going to find out what we got. And then we can start making some determinations off of that. So all in all, good day. Joe Sloan, I'm not going to stay long on here. We got so many comments, questions, concerns. So I'm not going to stay long on Joe Sloan before I get to him. I think Joe hit on all the key things that we talked about. I think people wanted to know how he was going to use the radio, how to use the iPads, all stuff that's just kind of internal and how they're going to use it, how he's going to use it. I mean, he basically said all the same things that he did during spring. I think that everybody has seen when Caleb Jackson gets the ball and a handoff, that dude is a special human being, though. He was asked a very big question about Caleb Jackson, and I thought he answered it the way that I've been seeing it. Because Caleb Jackson, we talk about, I don't know why we're not talking about him enough. Maybe because it's, well, man, he's breaking off a long run, but we're focusing on the interior defensive line because that's been an issue. That kid has had a fantastic camp. I hadn't seen him in pass coverage much. I mean, he's not been in those situations much. Or pass pro, I should say. That's been a lot of Josh Williams' action. But give that kid the rock, man. Give that kid the rock. Give him the rock and get the fuck out the way. That's how I give him the rock. Let him lean on teams. Let him lean on teams. If you let Caleb Jackson lean on teams, you can break the will of an opponent. And there's nobody I will say this, hot take. There's nobody that you can't lean on, in my opinion, on your schedule. You should be able to lean on everybody. And what do I mean by lean? Get that big offensive line out there and let him go to work. Line up Caleb Jackson and punch him some bitches right in the mouth. You should be able to do it, man. You should be able to do it. So, yeah. All right. Look, we got some super chats in here, so this is what we're going to do. Chase in a super chat. Thoughts, questions, concerns. We're going to get to the break. If you have questions, put in hashtag Ask Blake in the comments. We are going to get to those next. So anything you want answered, any topic you want to talk about in the comments, we're going to read it. We're going to do that next. Let's get to a quick break. We're back. Send them all in, man. Let's talk some football. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Rob with a $1.99 super chat says, showing some love, 901 West Tennessee's in the building. Thank you so much, Rob, for that super chat, my good man. I greatly appreciate it. Chase says, Blake, the Mike Scarborough had footage of the Lacey Stamps matchup. Very competitive. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Highly competitive. Highly competitive. So yeah, I agree with you. Jerry Mitchell, says, what do you think of Juwan Johnson, Blake? I think that kid can play. Play. Well, he certainly can cover. Look, man, he's been on some very athletic and really good tight ends. And he has not been on the receiving end of bad plays. That kid can play, man. That kid can play. I like what I've seen from Juwan Johnson, if I'm being honest. Yes, sir. Spectrum Healthcare says Coach Bo will develop them through camp. You're in practice 7 and it's not getting better. So if you're talking about the running game, how many practices do you need in camp for it to get better? Maybe you need – it's just going to take more than a season for this to get fixed. This is how they're winning too. Like they are having quote unquote big days and one-on-one drills and O-line, D-line, pass pro, which does go in the benefit of the defensive linemen. But Jacoby and Guillory's doing bull rushes. Sean Washington had a day after yesterday. Bo Davis all over his ass. They went back and forth. I don't know if Sean said anything to him, but I heard some very interesting words from Bo Davis. Oh, fuck me. No, fuck you. You know, like, I mean, I don't know who he was talking to. I thought it was Sean Washington. I don't know. But, oh, fuck me, fuck you. You're going to have to explain how the running game's not getting better, man. You're going to have to explain how the running game's not getting better. No Cap Sports Talk said, I've heard Spears more than Gilbert all camp. By the middle of the year, he better be starting. He makes plays. Well, I mean, he's making plays at the current moment. I'm not ready to go there yet. Not ready to go there yet. Chris Sanders says, I haven't seen them, but they will be okay. LSU will be okay this year. Our athletes are like no other. Hot take. Hot take. You ready? I think it's funny when people come in here and say, well, Blake, I hadn't seen him. I know you seen him. I don't care. We're going to be all right. Then why are you in here? Stefan, Fry, our good friends over at Fry Construction. You can get over to them today, 161 West Maple Street in Eunice, Louisiana. 337-457-5100. 337-457-5100. Let them know that Blake sent you on by land development and site work, oil and gas services, commercial construction, aggregate and soil hauling. They do it all. But our man Stefan right here says, Blake, my birthday shares the same date of the night we patty smack USC's ours, so September 1. Bourbon on the rocks or water? Your thoughts on the rocks? On the rocks. Yes, sir. I will admit, I have not. Here's the truth. I have drank bourbon once in the last 6 months. 5 months. Yeah, 5 months. I'm hoping during the season I don't go back to drinking it. Maybe the team was making me drink. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But I love me a good bourbon. On the rocks, I love a little bit of water in it. Me and my wife are going out on a date on Friday, because I've not been able to see my family a lot since practice has started. I'm taking her out to eat. She wants to go to a movie. We're going to do that. And we're going to the steakhouse. I have indulged myself in a glass of wine or two. I have not gone bourbon because once I start drinking some bourbon, I don't always know how to stop. So, especially if it's good bourbon. But I haven't had one 6 months, 5 months, whatever. Smooth Guy says, does Dom look bad? No. He says you haven't mentioned him all camp, really. Hadn't done anything. Not anything. That's not true. That's not true. We talked about him last night. That's not true. We talked about him last night. So, yeah. All right. He got a TFL in the running game. He just hasn't been the best. He's got to get his pad level lower. He's definitely got to get his pad level lower or he's going to get in trouble. He's not ready. He's not ready. Let's see if Saturday he's ready. Right now, he's not ready. Can he get some rotation in with the ones? I don't know. See you tomorrow, man. Peace.